So hi everyone, I'm Andy, a staff designer here at GitLab. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about UX roadmaps. So I will share my screen and just do a brief walkthrough. All right. So this is staging, by the way, don't worry. What we have is just a brief background. So a couple of years ago, I got assigned an issue to add a filter to this page. No big deal, right? Got some space, not that many filters, no problem. And then I recalled a conversation I had with another PM who was like, hey, I need to add, this other filter. And that got me and my PM wondering how many more filters need to be added. We found like 6, and that's a lot. That would make this 10. And then we were like, well, that is a whole different conversation of filtering and advanced search and the filtered search component itself. But I was wondering more around the situation of not necessarily being blindsided, but kind of being like, well, how did we not know about these needs, right? These issues had existed for, a few months. And in a conversation I had with Valerie, she's like, well, this is where UX roadmaps and working thematically comes in. And so over that course, that span, I think we all forgot what time was 2 years ago, but I had tried different approaches to bring UX roadmaps in. And it wasn't until an OKR in Q1, February, when I started to formalize the approach. So I went and took an NNG course on what UX roadmaps are and how to incorporate that process into a design department. And with help with Justin, we were able to create a process and documentation for UX roadmaps. And at the highest level, I won't go in and read all of this documentation, but at the highest level, UX roadmaps are a strategic living artifact that aligns, prioritizes, and communicates a product team's future work and problems to solve. They will act as a single source of truth for your team's North Star vision, serving as the blueprint for their strategy. They work in concert with the product strategy and direction. So UX roadmaps aren't going to supersede or take over the product roadmap. Think of it as if you were to look at the product roadmap and filter by the UX label or UX research label, that's the UX roadmap. The benefits of these roadmaps are they can align teams and groups across stages. So if you're looking at the high-level problems being solved in secure and protect, and you're in CI/CD or ops, you can see where there are areas of overlap. As well as teams can look down the road, your internal counterparts, and say, hey, they're going to be working on advanced filtering and search. That's great. This is what we're doing to prepare for that. Likewise with research as well, they can look ahead. You'll have, as a designer, like a more significant problem area to focus on, as opposed to feature by feature by feature by feature, which would have happened looking at our filters, right? We would have gotten to 5 and gone, well, can't add any more filters. But that wouldn't have happened until 3 months after we implemented that last filter. Not only this too, we'll be focusing on like a larger problem set, right? The needs of the user, right? And all of the experience touch points in one time. Not only that, the benefits of using roadmaps are they help align you as a strategic counterpart with your product manager. We see some definition of like the different product roadmaps and the different types of UX roadmaps, but I can just show you all instead. So we have gone through a pilot, Justin and I, and secure, protect, monitor, configure's coming up, and a few stages from, I think, release and pipeline insights to create UX roadmaps. The OKR in Q1 was successful, and we've made some modifications to the process. And now we are moving into that second stage of groups coming in, and we'll doing workshops with them. We'll get that part later. And so what you see here is a manifestation of a UX roadmaps using a board and themes using the issues themselves and swim lanes for stage groups. Each swim lane itself is broken down into their stage group, which has its own unique roadmap. So the DAS UX roadmap, which is comprised of that goal and vision statement that is going to act as their guardrails for the year. This kind of defines what's in and what's out in terms of scope, as well as the themes that are built within. If we wanted to dive in more into the themes, so the themes themselves, going back to the documentation, are really the important part of the UX roadmap. It's all about working thematically. The roadmap is really just a byproduct and an aggregate of UX themes that are just ordered in a cadence, like we see here, right? And that cadence is next 1 to 3, next 4 to 7, next 7 to 3. Think of these as when they will be design complete by and worked in. So this whole time span. Diving into the structure of a theme itself, it's really just the job to be done. Like, this is where I think we have some difficulty using jobs to be done, is that they're granular, right? And granular issues, they're not meant to be used at that low level or that micro job. That's really where the user story comes in. But using jobs to be done to define the theme in the roadmap is the practical application of jobs to be done. So you see these themes here, they're all predicated on a single job to be done, with sub themes as well if they need be. I know I'm covering a lot and I'm going quickly, so hopefully the documentation helps fill in any gaps too. But we have themes that are comprised of the beneficiary, right? Who these people are that we're solving the problem for, and who the recipients of the value of the product or service is. Their need, which is built from the job to be done, that middle part. The business objective that we hope to achieve. Sub-themes, which today we are retrofitting all of the existing feature issues as sub-themes, right? They're just either highly assumptive solutions or even validated solutions, or just ideas as issues. Then we'll assign confidence, which we have done in the workshop, as well as time frame and owner. Any questions so far? We can collaborate, it's okay. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Let's see here. So how do we build these? This here you see is the manifestation of a UX theme into an issue, right? All of those components I just walked through goes into an issue. And you can either link the sub themes, which were existing feature issues, or hard link them. However, the process works with your team. But Justin and I had created a process for building out roadmaps with each team. So we created an issue, and it has all the information a team would need to facilitate their own road mapping workshop, which is something you wouldn't do every day or every week or every month, something you do once a year or when you discovered a need, right, to redefine your roadmap, right? Category pivot, lack of alignment, right? Or just not having one. You want to include the product DRI and the design DRI. This is a collaborative process. It can't be done in a silo or in a chamber just from the UX side. It has to have buy-in, and it has to ladder into the strategic goals and direction of your stage and stage group. From there, we just have a few tasks for teams to do, like just educate themselves on what UX roadmaps are, read the documentation, and provide us with inputs. It is a 2-hour workshop, but it's only once a year, maybe. So it hasn't been a pain point yet. And then we ask for those goal and vision inputs so that we can ladder what we're creating as a roadmap into what our product is driving. And then we don't want to forget jobs to be done and our actionable insights. So how this looks in practice is it's a mess and it's awesome. We start off with our section and stage goals and our category goals. And from there, we build out our vision, like our vision statement, like what do we expect? And we ask these prompts, right? Like by 2023, users will be able to blank with our capabilities. And that is going to act as our guardrails for all of the themes we're going to be building and working on for the duration of the roadmap. We also have those internal goals, like what does success look like for the UX and research team? That's good as well. And this also acts as a nice warm-up exercise. And then we move into taking all of the inputs. So all of the yellow posties are issues that had already been created and they were organized in different epics. We include the jobs to be done and any actionable insights that revolve around the center of work that the team had been focusing on for this year. And then we just restructured it, right? So all of these buckets here are based on the same beneficiary who has the same needs with the same expected outcomes. From there, we get a better organization, allowing the designer to focus on this problem area as opposed to each one of these individual features. And the problem area is anchored by our jobs to be done. And just an infographic to help. So again, we have our scope. This defines the boundaries of our roadmap. We throw all our inputs together, which are feature issues, job to be done, actionable insights. We begin bundling them based on the beneficiary, the job to be done. We refine them into those, what we've seen as issues. So we got the business objectives, the sub-themes, the confidence. Then we prioritize them using the RICE model, the next method, or however the team feels confident in the order that they want to work on their themes. And the output is a board, a la a roadmap. So I'll stop there. I know I covered a lot. I hope I wasn't on mute the whole time.
Yeah, can you start over? I had a quick question. Why is working in themes different or better? And why can't we just work issue to issue like we do now?
So working thematically allows you to kind of get your elbows out into the problem space, right? Allows you to not work in the boundaries that were defined by the granular feature issue, right? There's a prescribed solution that was given to us. It's users must be able to do X, Y, and Z in this part of the UI. Sometimes it may be more vague, but with the theme, we also get to think more about the end-to-end UX process, right? So we could be delivering flow diagrams. We could be doing problem validation. Research can be working ahead to validate those problems. We're always aligned to our jobs to be done. And we have the flexibility to explore creative and unique solutions to meet our users' needs. And the end result, though this does seem like you're building this big thing, how do we iterate and break it down? Well, that's the iteration and MVC value that our counterparts are going to be working with us collaboratively to do. We deliver the designs and implement them iteratively. I think designing piecemeal and iteratively gets us into how did you get 10 filters on this page, right? It gets us into those gotcha moments.
So it allows us to design the entire theme as opposed to slices of it, and then we can slice it up in development in terms of MVCs and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, if you were an architect, would you design a room in the house or would you design your house?
Just a room. Just kidding. So what's your plan next? How do other groups get involved?
So right now, we are facilitating workshops. We're trying to find a process to expand facilitators in general. So it's not just myself and Justin doing the facilitation. But if teams are interested in it, they feel free to like jump on board and sign up. And hopefully we can kind of navigate just having 2 people who've facilitated these in the past.
How do you sign
Yeah,
up?
right now we're doing it through like OKRs. Design managers reach out to me and we can work together to figure out how to get your team set up. That's how we've been doing it. Hey, Anna volunteered for this quarter. So anyone else, or hopefully we can do it next quarter and the quarter after. I'll work with Valerie on that. But
yeah.
If that doesn't happen, you could still reach out to me and we'll figure something out. It doesn't have to be an OKR.
Cool. We're at time, so I'm going to stop recording.